Hi everyone, my name is Lucile Allen Paisant. I am the director of Minded Limited and founder of Leeds Wellbeing Week. At Minded Limited, we help organizations and people to thrive. So we organize wellbeing activities, but also training and offer some consultancy to businesses who want to support their people and improve the bottom line. And Leeds Wellbeing Week is a yearly festival that happens every year during the springtime that shares wellbeing activities all across the city of Leeds that people can experience in real life. And for this edition in 2020, we did everything virtually. Hopefully, we'll be able to do one in real life pretty soon. Today, I want to talk to you about burnout, my story quickly, what burnout is, and how we can overcome it and prevent it from happening in the first place. So why taking care of yourself is key. A little bit about my story. I'm French. You probably have heard that by now. I wonder when my accent is going to merge into a Yorkshire / French influences. I arrived in Leeds about 3.5 years ago. Before that, I was a marketing director for a small business. Absolutely loved my job. I worked 6 to 7 days a week, never stopped. The only time of the week where I would not work was when I was going to dance, because I could not literally have my phone in my pocket when I was dancing. Other than that, all the time I was on my phone, last thing in the evening, first thing in the morning, whenever I was with friends and family. I even remember my parents coming to help me move flats in Paris, and I went back to work while they were finishing with them and my friends to move my stuff, which was weird thinking back about it, but felt completely obvious at the time. And then all the signs, some signs of burnout started crawling in. I became really cynical about the job. I was really negative about my coworkers and about the project, while a few months before I loved it. I lacked vision. I lost the sense of my professional ability. And overall, I felt really, really tired all the time, not able to recover. And I share this with you because it happens to many people. It happened to my mom, that you can see on the picture. She burnt out twice, a couple of years apart. And it's not only me or my family. It's not only French people, it's actually 50% of UK full-time workers, according to a Virgin study, who are likely to experience some kind of burnout in their working life. Um, so it's something that needs to be talked about, but it's also something that needs to be prevented, because the cost of burnout is huge in terms of your own well-being, of your own happiness levels, but also of the happiness levels of your social circles, your family and your friends, uh, and also the cost to the organization you're working for, and potentially your own business if you're a business owner. So today I'm going to share with you the signs of burnout, and then the 3 steps approach that we take whenever we do some burnout prevention in workplaces, to support you who might have some signs of burnout, or some co-workers that you think might be on the way to burnout, or just to be aware of what might be happening to you one day, or to one of your family members or your friends. So what is it really? There's 3 main dimensions. Exhaustion, so you're physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted. In my case, I was tired all the time, not being able to recover. You might become cynical about the job specifically. You might lose interest or lose motivation. And you might also have that sense of reduced professional ability. So you can feel that you're unable to meet the demand. I want to make a little side note here that it's not only work-related burnout that happens. It touches all the areas of your life, and you might be um, a stay-at-home mom and experience burnout in the same way. You might be retired and experience burnout as well. So it's not necessarily work-related. And the different causes really. At work, it might be the lack of recognition. So if you have a lack of clarity and challenging demands, or too much to do, you take on too much on your shoulders. But it's, as I said, it's not only work, it can be your lifestyle and your personality as well. If you have too much work, but also too many responsibilities outside of work, not enough sleep because you're committed to many different associations, because you have kids and you're part of many clubs, or you drive them from one point to the other week after week. And also there's an element of personality. Perfectionists, if you define yourself as a perfectionist, you might be more likely to experience burnout. People who like to have control and who are high achieving, just because I say we, because I think I am one of them, specifically the perfectionist part. And we might have a tendency to do things ourselves instead of delegating, or instead of working as a team. We might take too much on our shoulders because we want to have control on things. So these elements might ring bells. You might think that you have those personality traits or those lifestyle traits, that work also has an influence. Think about your life in lockdown. Even though the lockdown is getting easier, and we got used to things more or less, and is being eased as well, so we have a bit more social interactions. Think about the days which you found difficult specifically, and was it because of your lifestyle? Was it because of some personality traits? Was it because of work, or was it just because of the lockdown? Because how we did life before obviously influenced how we did life in lockdown as well. Again, I want to say that this is okay. We can be perfectionists and never experience burnout. We can be high achiever and never experience burnout. We can be cynical about our jobs and never experience a burnout again. However, it's important to be aware of the causes and the dimensions, so that if you spot the signs, these signs of exhaustion, cynicism, and feeling of reduced professional ability, for instance, in yourself or in some of your co-workers or friends or family members, then you might be able to support them in preventing them. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. It's about the 3 steps approach that we take to support people in preventing burnout in the first place. This 3 steps approach is what we call pause, connect, and prioritize. This is an individual approach. It's something that we support individuals with. However, it can also be taken as an organization as well. So I'll take you through each of the steps quite quickly. Of course, there's much more that could be said about all of them, and this is an introduction. But keep in mind that what I'm saying for individuals, for you as a person, could also be implemented for the organization you're working for, or for organizations who you're working with. So let's talk about pause to start with. Pausing is something that we hardly ever do in our life. We keep moving forward, we keep going. And in this lockdown, we have actually been forced to pause, forced to slow down. And there are 2 elements here that I want to share with you. The first one is what I call the power moments. We always constantly doing stuff, and we sometimes forget to being. One thing I noticed so I run my own business, I run a festival, and I'm also a mom and a wife. And whenever I was with my daughter at home, I would put her down for a nap and then rush to do stuff, empty the dishwasher, put some laundry out, catch up on emails, and start to do some bits and pieces while trying to drink my coffee. And whenever I actually ended up drinking my coffee, it was all cold. So now what I do is that I do a power moment. I stop, I put my daughter down for a nap, I stop, I drink my coffee for 5-10 minutes, and then I do something else. And I realize that I am much more intentional about my next tasks, and I'm also much more productive. So pausing means that. My question for you is, at which point during the day do you think you can take a break, a proper break, where you just pause, you drink your coffee, or you sit down doing nothing for a little while, 5-10 minutes? This might really help you to think about the next steps and be more productive during those next steps. And the other element about pausing is disconnecting, not being constantly on our phones, not being constantly distracted, constantly stimulated by information. And they go hand in hand. Taking a break and pause and having a pause would work as well as disconnecting at that specific time. The second step is connecting. Once you have paused and connected with yourself, you're more likely to be able to connect with others. It's really important to talk. Whenever you feel that when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel that you have those signs of burnout that I mentioned before, one way forward is actually to talk about it with trusted friends and trusted family members, and maybe with a professional if you feel that you don't get the help that you would need. There's no shame in that. It's completely normal, but make sure that you connect and that you reach out and talk to other people. And then the final step is to prioritize. So you have paused, you have taken a break, you have disconnected, then you have connected with other people and talked about what you are experiencing. Now you need to prioritize. What are the things that you can say no to? Because very often what leads to burnout is a calendar that is filled with commitments, with work commitment, lifestyle commitments, association, kids, parents, and all these accumulated prevents you from being able to pause, being able to sleep, being able to rest, or being able to enjoy the things that you do enjoy yourself. So there's that aspect in prioritizing. What are the things that you can say no to? Think about the things that take up your time, take up your mental space, or take up your energy that you would like to stop doing. And the last element I want to share with you today is about prioritizing yourself. Because very often people who experience burnout, as we saw, are high achievers or perfectionists, but they're also people pleaser. People who find it hard to say no, or people who put everyone else before themselves. And it's key to prioritize yourself. So the second question I have for you is, what do you enjoy doing? What do you love doing? What makes you smile? What makes you relax? Or what makes you not look at your phone and disconnect? And these are the things that you want to put in your calendar instead of all the other commitments. Put in your calendar your me time, your post time, and your connect time. So this is these are my tips for you. Pause, connect with others, and then prioritize yourself and your own well-being. So as you saw, this is a very short introduction to what we do and who we are. Minded Limited, as I said, we help organizations and people to thrive at work and out of work. And Leeds Wellbeing Week is a yearly festival. We do organize events to support people in Leeds all year long. The next edition should be towards the end of the year or in spring 2021. We're not 100% sure yet, but keep an eye out. And if you have any question, really feel free. I would be more than happy to support you and your organization.